What's good, y'all? It's your boy HBK Triz.
And Gigi.
You already know what it is, b-ball fans. Stand up, you know what I'm saying? Today we got something different from highlights. Something one of you guys comment down below. Y'all want to check out their mansions, and we are actually experts in this because we watch House Hunters every
We
day.
do watch House Hunters. I am addicted to that show.
Yes, she got me hooked on the House Hunters, y'all, and we've been watching House Hunters hella. So I'm like, we've been watching a lot of houses, so I was like, this is right in our
Yes.
timeline. So shout out to the bro who commented that down below. I was like, you know what, let's check it out, you know.
And then we watched Millionaire House Hunters.
Yeah.
And whose house did we see?
Magic Johnson's house.
Yeah.
We saw Magic Johnson's house for sale, and it was a pretty dope house.
It was
I'm not
very
gonna lie.
nice.
So
Had a
yeah,
good pool.
had a really dope pool. So this is gonna be most expensive mansions of NBA stars. You got LeBron, Kevin Durant, James Harden, Steph Curry, probably more. So let's just check it out.
Okay.
Like, comment, and subscribe. Let's turn this thing up. Let's go.
It's no secret that NBA stars tend to live in extremely nice homes.
Of course.
It's also no big mystery why. These dudes make insane levels of dough. The most famous NBA stars that almost everyone could name off the top of their head are usually not only the highest paid players, but also the players with the most endorsement deals and signature products.
Yeah.
It all pulls together to make them extremely valuable and extremely wealthy, and they're often not shy about it. Here are the most expensive mansions owned by NBA stars today that will completely blow your mind. Giannis Antetokounmpo. Say what you want about the Greek freak, but the dude seems like he's a genuinely humble guy. Even though he started out in the NBA making $22 million a year, unlike almost every other player on the planet.
Only $22 million a year is crazy. I'm like,
wait, what do you mean
only? Like, that is great, brother. But hey,
that is good money.
that is great money.
That is a lot of money.
A year is crazy.
He didn't buy a new place right away. In fact, Giannis kept living in a rented 2-bedroom apartment with his girlfriend, his younger brother, and his mom. It wasn't until a few years ago that Giannis eventually decided it was time to get a mansion of his own. Milwaukee, Wisconsin might not be the first place you think to look, but truth be told, like any major city, there are some absurdly expensive neighborhoods. Maybe the most expensive is
He plays out there. I mean, you got to find a house out there. Hey, like,
I mean, all that
River
land
Hills.
is expensive.
Big surprise, that's where Giannis decided to go. He purchased a 10,000 square foot palace, complete with 5 bedrooms, 7.5 bathrooms, a movie theater, a game room, and multiple swimming pools. The mansion also
swimming pools.
Multiple swimming
I
pools.
see Giannis is a fan of wood. Let's see, he likes wood. He has a whole lot of wood.
And like that dark granite.
I like that. Okay.
has a 2-story guest house. Before Giannis bought the property, it had been owned, funny enough, by another Bucks player named Mirza Teletovic. Teletovic and Giannis were teammates until Teletovic retired in 2018 and moved out of the country. For this enormous decked out property, Giannis shoveled out $1.8 million. That's of course an insane amount of money, way beyond the wildest dreams of 99% of people. But for Giannis, it was a bargain, and as far as NBA mansions go, it's actually kind of on the low end.
That's what I'm
as far as
saying.
we know, Giannis is still living here with his family. There's been talk over recent years about the 2-time MVP possibly looking to take his talents to another city, but
to the San Antonio Spurs, hopefully. You know what I'm saying?
so far, it hasn't happened.
He have a brother?
In fact, just this past December,
He got 2 brothers. Thanasis.
Both in the
Thanasis and
Thanasis?
Thanasis, and I forgot the other ones. Costas. They're not good, but you know, when you're Giannis, you can get your brothers on the team.
Thanasis
and Costas. Yeah.
Giannis re-signed with the Bucks for a 5-year extension. This super max extension made headlines around the sports world for being the most expensive contract ever signed in NBA history. Giannis is now getting paid well over $45 million a year to play for Milwaukee. Does this mean we'll see Giannis move yet again? Maybe another upgrade is in store for the MVP. There's no doubt he could afford something much bigger and more expensive even than the crazy huge mansion he already has. It's really just a question of whether the Greek
And Juliet. Romeo and Juliet. Romeo and Juliet. Balconies.
Sorry, y'all, because when I teach 9th graders, they read this bootleg version of Romeo and Juliet. And now I can't get the name straight, but I think that's called a Romeo and Juliet balcony.
That's pretty.
And they're really cute.
That is nice, bro. You can greet people from there like, hey, come on in.
freak wants to move or not. Kevin Durant. Prior to signing with the Brooklyn Nets in 2019, Kevin Durant lived in Oakland. In addition to being the former hometown of the Warriors, Oakland is famous for being the most dangerous city in California. Several NBA players, including Damian Lillard, grew up there and have spoken publicly about some of the rough neighborhoods and violence on the streets. But that's not the Oakland KD was living in. Durant was among the few who could afford to look down on the sprawling masses from the...
Knowing him, he was probably in Sausalito. Probably was, he probably was. We've been out to San Francisco. We've been to the expensive high-end part.
safety of the surrounding hillside.
Mm.
Oakland Hills, just like Beverly Hills, is an unimaginably expensive area full of
It
mansions
sounds
most
like
people
it.
will
Yeah.
never see in their lives.
I'm
The only
sure
way
I
you're gonna
would.
buy a house up there is if you're a multimillionaire and then some. Luckily for KD, he definitely was. The Warriors were paying him a staggering $41 million a year, and his net worth is estimated at $170 million. The top real
Now money a year. That's what I'm
Like, I know
saying.
that it's a big number,
But
but
like,
until I see something that is equivalent to it, it just doesn't.
yeah, like
Like, I don't get. Like,
the
you
part
know
to
what I
wrap my
mean?
head around, it's a year. That's what I'm saying. A
Yeah.
year. Like $41 million, you're good for the rest of your life. Like you can live the rest of your life, your generations.
Yeah.
But they're getting
Like,
that
you don't
a
even have to
year.
work, maybe. Like, for some people.
Yeah, you're getting that a year is crazy.
Wild.
That's crazy.
estate agents in the Bay Area are probably more than happy to give Durant the full tour and show him all the craziest available properties
Oh,
in
yeah,
the
I
area.
would've
yeah.
signed up
KD settled on a
Yeah.
mansion in Oakland Hills
Ooh.
that fills up more than 9,000 square feet of the luxurious Ridgemont neighborhood. The home has 7
That was like
bedrooms
3
and 8
houses put
bathrooms.
together.
The
Yeah.
views are insane, and the house has a huge balcony looking out on the bay too. Oh,
That's beautiful.
and of course, there's a basketball court.
Of course.
To call this ridiculous palace in one of the world's most expensive
That view.
That
is
living room is
gorgeous.
crazy.
It's just the floor to ceiling windows, and it's an entire wall that is
That
the
is
floor to ceiling
dope.
window.
I can imagine watching the movie right there. Oh, that's sick. That's crazy.
real estate markets his own, Durant had to dish out $6 million.
About right.
That's a lot more money than the average American makes in their lifetime put together, but for
Yeah.
Durant, it was only about 15% of his Warriors paycheck.
It's so
And that's not
crazy.
including the fact that he has signature sneakers, numerous brand deals, and not least
Yeah.
of all, he's a serious investor in Silicon Valley.
Yeah.
The truth is, Durant probably could have purchased a home several times bigger and more expensive than this one, as mind-boggling as that is to think about. Of course, he
I know
doesn't
the
live there
mind-boggling
anymore,
is stupid.
and who knows what his place in Brooklyn looks like. James Harden.
Oh, yeah,
The
James
San Francisco
Harden.
Bay is probably the most expensive place to buy a house in the entire country.
Francisco,
But
yeah.
Houston, Texas is a different story. For
Oh,
KD's
yeah, he
teammate
living
James
in-
Harden,
He living in Texas,
He
yeah.
has
He
5
probably,
mansions.
yeah, he probably lives somewhere.
a whole
Yeah,
world of
5
opportunity
mansions
opened up
smushed
after the
together.
Houston
Something
Rockets
stupid.
gave him the most expensive player contract in history at the time, damn near $43 million a year. Back when the contract was announced, Rockets owner Leslie Alexander said something hella funny. Since he arrived in Houston, James has exhibited the incredible work ethic, desire to win, and passion to be the best that has made him one of the most unique and talented
The beard.
superstars in the history of the game.
Y'all heard her, y'all? She calls him the Beard.
To me, that's the beard.
That's his nickname. That's what everybody. That's what she exclusively. She only calls him the Beard.
Well, I have names
That's
for
good.
everybody. I just don't know if like that's their actual. Some
You
of them
should-
are not.
Y'all better subscribe right now. That was actually perfect. Yeah, clip that. That was perfect. I call him the Beard. Yeah, that's his nickname, the Beard. So I'm like, that's pretty dope. That
Well, I also call him. What else have I called him?
the Beard. Yeah, that was perfect. That was really
I
perfect.
also, in the past, have called him. Who's the guy that made the movie?
Huh.
Get Out.
Jordan Peele. Jordan Peele.
Yeah, I've also in the past called him Kevin Peele.
Kevin Peele. I'm dead. James Harden is Kevin Peele.
Yeah.
Additionally, the commitment he has shown to our organization, the city of Houston, and Rockets fans all over the world makes him a perfect leader in our pursuit of another championship. Ouch. That was in the summer of 2017. To be fair, in the 2017-2018 season, the Rockets were the best team in the NBA, and they came seriously close to beating the Warriors in the Western Conference Finals, but they didn't. That
Yeah.
commitment to the city of Houston and Rockets fans all over the world suddenly and mysteriously vanished. And of course, Harden went on to refuse a staggering $50 million a year offer before leaving for Brooklyn. But before all that went down,
Can you imagine denying $50 million a year
Just because he doesn't want to be on the team.
so you can work at another job? Like when you really think about it, like because all it is different. It's a job.
Yeah.
It's like no, I'd rather work at this job. I'll turn down $50 million to
No.
take less.
Harden took advantage of his status as the league's highest paid player and bought a completely over-the-top mansion in Houston. Remember
bet.
how I said KD's mansion was over 9,000 square feet?
Yeah, I know in
Well,
Texas.
this one is over 26,000 square feet. The mansion Harden picked is so fancy, it has a name, Memorial Modern. Memorial Modern is located in Rivercrest, which as you could probably guess, is a stupid expensive neighborhood in West Houston. This mansion had just about everything you could think of. A massive
My gosh.
The entrance
It's-
alone.
He gets a clap. That's probably one
I
of the
mean,
coldest mansions I've ever
if I
seen.
pulled up somewhere and the gate moves by
Self
itself,
automatically like that. That is
It's a
okay.
crazy.
swimming pool, a massive kitchen, a private
Woo.
bar, a movie
Yeah.
theater, a shower bigger than a lot of people's apartments, and of course, a
That
gated
shower
entrance
could
with a
fit my
circular
entire
driveway, just like any.
family.
That's crazy. That's what I'm saying. Like 5 people can fit in that shower. That shower is. I
And
get
if you're
like.
itty bitty, you could fit like 20 people.
That's what I'm saying. If you're a billionaire, you know where to go. You go to Texas, you can do something extremely stupid because there's nothing but space.
And I like the trees right there.
That's nice.
Like when you can pull up. So it's not just like a house. Like, obviously it's a house, but it has some nature.
It feels like a neighborhood.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That is crazy.
Typical rich person in a movie would have. The mansion was designed and built by a company called Frankel. According to their website,
crazy.
this particular mansion is unique because it's so large, yet maintains a minimalist style. It also took them 3 years to complete. It took Harden much less time than that to decide this was where he wanted to live. He coughed up $10 million for it, sacrificing less than a quarter of his rocket salary. It's a crazy thing about wealth that a lot of these guys end up paying for things only they could afford, yet they could have still afforded something several times more expensive. Anyway, spoiler alert, Harden didn't stay that long. In January of 2021, he packed up and headed off to join KD and Kyrie in Brooklyn.
He probably still
It's
goes
unknown
there,
whether his
like,
former
hang out in the
home,
summertime,
Memorial
though.
Modern, is still on the market, or if some other insanely rich person has moved
put
into
it
it.
up for
All I know
sale.
is
What? Y'all better subscribe right now so we can get that house. Subscribe right now. Press the button. It's free.
We can
It's
all
free.
work together.
We can work together.
all live there.
We can all, yeah, that's what I'm saying. We can all
and
live
I
there.
doubt that we will ever
Bruh.
run into each other.
The button is free, bro. Let us live there. I'll let y'all pull up, man. The button is free.
you and I ain't going anytime soon either way. Steph Curry. So far, we've looked at some seriously expensive and rare mansions that only a handful of NBA stars could pay for. But this is where things really start to get blown into outer space. Steph Curry is right up there with Harden, Giannis, and KD when it comes to earning over $40 million a year from his contract.
Of course.
But Steph is also a generational player who has transformed the game in a way very, very few players have. This means Steph has a unique opportunity to make money other ways. Brands flock to work with him because he's not just a famous NBA star, he's a full-blown icon. Steph's annual income is estimated to be as high as twice his NBA contract, and that's not to mention the fact that his wife is also a very successful businesswoman, making boatloads of cash too. In the summer of 2019, after a disappointing loss to the Raptors in the NBA Finals, rumors were swirling about the Warriors dynasty being over. KD left, Clay was out with a serious injury. Curry, on the other hand, wasn't going anywhere, and he used the offseason as an opportunity to buy a house that's almost literally unbelievable. It's so fancy. Harden thought he was breaking the bank at $10 million, but tell that to Curry, he'd probably laugh out loud. This straight up castle in Atherton, California, called Steph.
The yard.
That yard is stupid.
It looks like it reminds me of Bridgerton.
Yeah.
Like with the fountains, the little design shrubs.
That is like a Bridgerton, like.
Yeah.
That is a Bridgerton. Look at all these shrubs and different trees.
Yes, and just the way everything is, like visually, the way it looks.
I like it. And then you got like the slides over there for the kids.
Or Vanderpump Villa, which was in England.
I think in England, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like it though. It's dope.
No less than $31 million.
Damn.
What's that? Is that a little hot tub?
That looks like a little hot tub. That hot tub looks so nice because it looks
That
like
is nicer than any hot tub I've ever seen in my life.
because I'm like that don't even look real. The water don't look real. This is showing us like the different styles of what they like. Obviously James Harden is a single man. His house is crazy. Steph Curry has a family. That's what I'm saying. His looks more like a
family
a mega home.
hangout. Yes. Because you could barbecue there. I see the little playground.
But ooh, that's nice.
The reason for the move
million.
was probably because this was the same year that the Warriors left Oracle Arena for the Chase Center on the other side of the bay. Atherton is a small town about 30 miles south of San Francisco, and according to Forbes, it is the most expensive zip code in the United States. Tons of other rich famous people also live there, including 49ers superstar receiver Jerry Rice. Despite this, when Curry made his $31 million purchase, it became the most expensive real estate purchase in the history of the Bay Area, a market which, as I mentioned before, is notoriously pricey.
So he bought the most expensive house in
pretty
much ever
Francisco.
in San Francisco, which is the most expensive city.
Casually one day.
A house that makes the neighbors jealous, even in Atherton. The house was reportedly never on the market publicly. Who knows how Curry even got it or who connected him to it? But it's amazing to think even if you had $31 million just lying around, you still wouldn't have been able to buy this place. Crazier still is the fact that in order to protect his family's privacy, the house is almost impossible to actually see. We can all figure out roughly where it is because Atherton is a small neighborhood, but the mansion is so tucked away and protected by security that very few photos even exist of the place. Wow. We don't know how many bedrooms or bathrooms there are. We don't know what the swimming pool situation is or the basketball court situation. No. Do the Currys have a movie theater like at Hardin's Pad in Houston? No. Is there an amazing view like Katie's mansion in Oakland? No idea. The whole place is simply off limits for regular people. But use your imagination. If Hardin bought his 26,000 square foot place for $10 million, what does $31 million get you? I can't believe I'm saying this, but it gets more expensive than even Steph Curry's Atherton mansion. How is it even possible, you might ask, when Atherton is the most expensive zip code in the United States? Well, just because Atherton is the most expensive area overall, doesn't mean it has every single expensive property. And just because Steph is a generation-defining athlete worth hundreds of millions, doesn't mean he's the biggest or wealthiest star in the NBA. In fact, he's not even close. I know I don't need to tell you who I'm talking about. LeBron James is in a league of his own. It's been estimated that when he retires, James could quickly become only the second NBA star in history to be a billionaire. As things stand right now, he's the richest NBA player by an extraordinary...
Michael Jordan's a billionaire through the shoes, of course.
Yeah. I mean, but doesn't Michael Jordan still earn money on every shoe? So,
he's a big billionaire.
He will never have to worry about anything.
Yeah, never, ever.
Distance. When you put all the contracts he signed in his career together, he's the highest paid player in NBA history overall. And of course, don't get me started on the kinds of brand deals James has racked up. The guy has even been in movies. And I'm not talking little guest appearances that give him one paycheck. I'm talking starring roles in major Hollywood motion pictures. Imagine being a lead actor in Hollywood and being an NBA star. That's a level of wealth and success that just can't be properly described. James has so much money, his life has to be run like he's a company. He has a team of financial advisors. He has a whole staff of employees who live at his house, cleaning, cooking meals, providing fitness training.
That's like the show we just watched where he had a whole staff of like people, just employees that live there. Remember the show we was just watching, Sirens? That's crazy.
And I bet they have their own kitchen, their own
rooms.
Yeah, they probably never go into like his family's space.
That's crazy.
Company. He has a team of financial advisors. He has a whole staff of employees who live at his house, cleaning, cooking meals, providing fitness training for him, and who knows what else. LeBron also wins the grand prize for having by far the most expensive housing on this list. In 2020, James paid $39 million for a Beverly Hills mansion that's just stupid, it's so nice. The property is 13,000 square feet and was built all the way back in the 1930s, meaning the history of celebrities who have lived there is long and full of recognizable names. For his gigantic investment, LeBron and his family are rewarded with 4 bedrooms, 7 bathrooms, a movie theater, and a full tennis court. Giannis also might get jealous because although his place has a pretty nice guest house, LeBron's place has 2. But here's the part that's really gonna make your jaw drop. This property's...
Yeah, I heard that on like a tweet or something. Like his sons, like they had their own like house pretty much inside their house. Like, which is crazy. Like they were like, oh yeah, we never like see LeBron because they get, like he said, they got their own 2 guest rooms. They probably never live in that regular house. That is crazy. That is crazy.
Going to end up costing way more than $39 million. Wow. LeBron is likely to spend millions and millions more because he's having the whole thing torn down and rebuilt so it can be even bigger. And what will King James do while his house is being completely demolished and rebuilt from the ground up? Well, he and his family will go live in one of his other houses, of course. LeBron has 2 other mansions. One is in his hometown of Akron, Ohio, and another is just 5 miles away from Beverly Hills in a similarly upscale neighborhood of Brentwood. I guess it just goes to show when you're that wealthy, the world operates by different rules.
Wow.
Yeah, for sure.
Wow, that's crazy, man. It's a lot of money out on this planet. You know what I'm saying? We got to just go get it. You know what I'm saying? That's crazy.
My favorite one was
James Harden. I say James Harden, then Curry.
No, my favorite was Curry's.
Curry's was nice.
I loved his. It was cute.
It was cute. It was definitely a family type house.
Yes.
I'm gonna go James Harden then Curry. Those are the bag. James Harden's house was like, design wise, that was like so weird looking and crazy and expensive. It just looked like.
I just don't like houses that feel cold.
That did feel.
Like, I'm not gonna walk into a house and it feels like
cold.
Like there's nothing homey about it. There's no pictures.
Right.
Like if I were to drop a pizza on the counter, someone's gonna yell at me.
Yeah.
Like, no.
Curry's house did feel way more homey than James Harden's house. Giannis' house was probably the most homiest one.
Yeah.
But like Curry.
Most humble.
Most humblest house.
Saying a lot because none of these houses are humble.
But as far as them, yeah, the most humble. Kevin Durant's house was cool too.
Mhm. I
Mm, mm.
maybe unpopular opinion, but I
Mm.
don't really like LeBron James' house like that.
It didn't really blow my mind as I
It
thought.
looked tropical to me. It
Yeah.
felt like something you might see in Florida.
Right.
Like just the style of it, the roofing,
Yep.
the palm trees that he had. Like it just reminded me of like a Florida home, which is not bad.
It's
Like
not
nothing
bad. It's nothing
against
wrong.
that.
Yeah, I mean, it's a
But
great house, but
it just didn't like knock my socks
which I
off.
thought it would. But
Yeah.
I think the price tag was so expensive because it's in Beverly Hills, and you
Yes,
don't pay
I think
that
so.
that huge tax when you're in
Mhm.
Beverly Hills. Like, yeah, I bet his Ohio house is probably way much better. Because I mean, it's
Yeah,
Ohio, so you can really,
do some
yeah, you
things.
probably create all types of stuff in your house. I have a bowling alley, a go kart, everything up in Ohio.
True. A lot of land.
A whole lot of land. So yeah, man, this was very interesting to watch. I see they got the most expensive things they bought, and they got other things. So y'all let us know what y'all wanted to check out next, man. But this was a pretty interesting video, especially since we watch a lot of house hunters.
This was fun.
I
I
like it.
like
I
house
enjoy it.
things.
It's very beautiful. It's
Mhm.
your boy Tris.
And Gigi.
Peace.